am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. Today is January the 3rd, 2022. This is the third day of the new year, and we're going to be doing commentary talking about the ladies of the View. They did return back from their Christmas and New Year's break, and we will be having our commentary. Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin did test positive over the Christmas break. Whoopi was not on the show today, but Sunny was back on the show, and she has since tested negative. She talked about what had happened last year, or well, I should say 2020, because now we're in a new year. When her husband lost his parents right before one was on Christmas, their birthdays was December the 24th and December the 25th, but then one passed away on December the 28th, just 3 days after Christmas, and then one passed away last year, actually on New Year's Day of 2021. So the Hostin family had already been through a lot. But we're going to listen to the ladies talk. Joy did mention that Whoopi, and as we know, it is a requirement of the View. If the ladies, the co-hosts, anyone working, the audience, everyone, any affiliation with the View, guests that come on, you have to be fully vaccinated. So we know that all ladies were or are vaccinated, but again, COVID-19 is still just very rampant as we're hearing about it. Even here in my state alone, from when they gave the report today, it was reported 17,525 new cases from December 30th of 2021 to yesterday's date, January the 2nd, 2022, over 17,000 new cases of COVID. We are still in this pandemic, people. So please practice cautions. Practice whenever you are inside, especially with a large group of people, and even when just minimal group, wearing a mask, trying to distance as much as possible, to wash your hands. Just be cautious to try and follow the CDC guidelines, and just be concerned for yourself, for your loved ones, for your neighbors, for your friends, for your colleagues, for strangers. Just being a caring human being for another caring human being, to practice cautious. So we're going to listen to the ladies. They are now back isolation. They are coming to us from their homes, as they had did pretty much for the last 2 years, until they came back on season 25. When they came back in September for season 25, was the first time basically 2 years that they had been in the studio. Sara was the only one that was actually at the studio when everyone was doing the virtual and remote, bringing the show to us live each day. So we're going to listen to the ladies of The View.
My father tested positive for COVID and wasn't able to come for Christmas or my birthday, so I got stuck with rentals and linens for 20 people and a catered meal for 20 people that's been exploding out of my refrigerator. And talking about explosions, then my dog ate a 10-ounce steak and she exploded all over the place, and I ended up at the vet's emergency room. But here's the good news. My father finally tested negative for COVID and was able to fly in New Year's Day. My dog has been giving him puppy therapy, and being able to cuddle and hug my dad, who is heartbroken after over 60 years of marriage to my mom, is really the best New Year's gift I've ever gotten. So I'm starting on a good foot for 2022.
Okay. Well, we hope your father, remains good and stays safe. As we're all so worried about this. I had to cancel stuff, and I want to hear what you did over the holidays, Sara. Tell us, with all those kids.
I was thinking a lot about Anna, because last year we went into this holiday with Sunny losing her in-laws, and the pain that involved from a distance as a friend, and then knowing Anna has been dealing with this for so long, and then getting that news, your heart just is so heavy. But I was able to get away for a couple days with my two oldest kids before the holiday, and I was heading to Florida, so I was going into the Lion's Den. Sorry, Anna. And But I came out okay. We got to see my parents, my siblings, and I came back to a COVID positive husband. So Max got COVID, and we had to quarantine within the house. So I had the kids. We were in K95 masks. We were lucky we were in a house now because we never could have done this in an apartment. But we stayed clear, and I have tested negative 4 times. I'm boosted, vaccinated. We were really prudent with our hands and staying away from each other. The kids still ask today, "Can we touch Papa? Is he better yet?" And so we're all healthy now, and we did dodge a bit of a bullet there, but it hit us as well. This one doesn't seem like anyone's going to get out of this one unscathed.
No, it's not. It seems to be virulent, but supposedly it will peak. I mean, I canceled all my Christmas. I was supposed to have a fairly decent-sized Christmas party at my house, and I was going to invite people who were tested, and they had to be vaccinated. Everybody had, the whole thing. And I just canceled the whole thing. We were all very disappointed. But I canceled the party because it just seems unsafe. Unlike Donald Trump, by the way, who had a big party at Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve, maskless, God knows even if they were vaccinated, all these people. Matt Gaetz, I think, was there. It's like, really? Really? Come on. He's the one who went on television last week and told Candace Owens, get the vaccination, get it, be safe, and then he has a party where it's not safe. The confusion and the bad behavior is just unbelievable. Sonny, do you have anything you want to share with us about your holiday? I know that it must have been very tough on the whole family since your in-laws both passed. And was your mother positive too? Somebody.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very tough holiday. As everyone knows, my father-in-law passed away on December 28th, and my mother-in-law passed away January 1st, and their birthdays were Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And so it was extremely difficult for my husband, especially because I too tested positive for COVID right before Christmas. And so I was isolated, alone. I FaceTimed with my family, for Christmas and New Year's. And it was extremely difficult. My mom also tested positive for COVID. We're all negative now, and thank God Manny and the kids and my dad were negative and remain negative because, as Sara said, we have the space here to isolate. But I'm so thankful that I was vaccinated and boosted because I only had cold-like symptoms, but I didn't feel great, honestly. And it just goes to show you that the vaccine and the boosters do work, and they make it makes sure that you're not hospitalized for something like this, and it makes sure that you don't die from something like this. But that all being said, it was a pretty difficult holiday season for the Hostin household. My husband was at the cemetery on Christmas Day, and I wasn't able to go with him, and he was very, very worried about me and checking my oxygenation levels constantly. But we're on the other side of it now. But it was a very difficult time for us.
Wow, and that's some story, and and you have a doctor in the house, which helps a lot, I guess. But as you can see, bad things can happen when there's a doctor in the house. When there's not a doctor, this particular thing is just virulent and
Yeah, so that was the ladies of the View talking about their holidays, and again, the Hostin family is probably going to be from here on out since 2020 and 2021 with, as she stated, her father-in-law passed away December the 28th, which was 3 days after Christmas. She stated how her mother-in-law passed away last year on New Year's Day, January 1 of 2021, and their birthdays was like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I can't even imagine how, but I mean, with the strength of God, and as time goes on, you learn to handle things better and differently. But I mean, even if COVID wasn't still so rampant, I can only imagine their holidays, what had transpired just a year and 2 years, now going into 2 years and all of that. But I'm glad to know that they all now have tested negative. We ask that you just continue to Keep the ladies and their families in your prayers. Keep Whoopi. Joy sitting in as the moderator today. She did say hopefully Whoopi will be back by next week. We shall see. And they are now all just being remotely taken, as Joy stated, just being very extra cautious in this because, like I said at the beginning of this commentary, I live in Mississippi, the state. We have from the holiday from December 30th through yesterday's date, it was being reported 17,525 new cases of COVID. 5 people lost their lives. I also want to play this clip with Anna, and it's going to be somewhat of a repeat of some things she was said, but let's listen to Anna as she talked about her mother who she lost just right before Christmas and right before her birthday, and she was really somewhat emotional, and she was even emotional when she was talking while, with the other lady. So let's now listen to Anna.
A picture of her dress.
Anna, let me start with you because you've been dealing with a lot over the past 2 weeks. Your mother passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. Everyone has sent their condolences to you. I see it all over Twitter and Facebook. So there's your beautiful mother. So tell us how you are holding up. How are you doing?
Yes, my mom passed away December 14th. It was actually the evening after we had pre-taped the holiday show. And, as you guys know, because we've lived through this for the last few months, my family has been grieving for months, expecting this, but hoping against hope for a miracle. We didn't get that miracle. And I think I was ready in my head, but not ready in my heart. I'm not sure any of us are ever ready to lose a parent. I'm sad, Joy. I'm heartbroken. I wish my mom had been in good health a little longer and able to enjoy her family. Which is what she loved the most. I really want to thank everybody who asked about my mom, those who sent positive and encouraging messages and condolences, those who called. I read every message. It meant so much to me. And I can tell you this, my mom was a woman of great faith. She believed in heaven. And so those prayers really meant something to her and to my family. Going through her things, we found a picture of her dressed as an angel. And so I took it as a sign that I have a guardian angel in heaven now. And then, since losing my mom wasn't enough, and then having Christmas 10 days later wasn't enough, my father tested positive for COVID and wasn't able to come for Christmas or my birthday. So I got stuck with rentals and linens for 20 people and a catered meal for 20 people that's been exploding out of my refrigerator. And talking about explosions,
I'm going to stop it there because that was again going into what we had heard when all 4 of the ladies talked about how their Christmas break was. So they are back live. They will be, maybe at least for this week. Hopefully they will be able to get back into the studio, because I did like having them all back in the studio and also having a live audience. It's, as Joy said, it's just really a better way of them to do their show, a better way of just conversating and just the overall environment and the atmosphere. So I was so happy when they came back for their season 25, which they're currently in season 25. Again, just pray, because Anna has experienced a lot. She lost her mom right before Christmas, then her birthday being just a few days after Christmas, and not able to be there for her mom. Then her dad testing positive, but she said he has now tested negative, and he was able to fly in on New Year's Day, and I think he's still there with her, spending time with her and her husband and her dog Cha-Cha. We thankful for Sunny and her mom testing negative now. Again, we have to just keep Whoopi. They didn't say if Whoopi has now tested negative or not. I'm not sure, but as Joy said, no one is exempt from COVID and these variants that's so rapidly still in our midst. So we have to do our part. We, each individual, have to do our part, and everyone needs to be accountable for yourself and for someone else, because This is 2022. We started this in 2020, and as we can see, we just finished a year, still in this pandemic, still COVID-19 continuing, and we have to take it serious. So practice CDC guideline, practice making sure you're wearing a mask, washing your hands, being more vivid, more concerned in what you're doing. Like I say, because everybody is impacted by this. Everyone knows someone that has either had COVID, has COVID, or is trying to get to pass COVID. And some people, maybe I've heard people that have had it in the past still have some complications and all of this. So we're still in this, everyone. We are still in this, unfortunately, crisis of COVID. This virus that doesn't seem to want to go away. So all I can say is, you do your part. I will do my best to do my part, and let's everyone stay safe. And again, make sure you keep the ladies of the View and their families in your prayers. I am LaMarsha Lewis, and let's talk.